So for us, it is very simple. People use tools, technology tools, to make their lives simple. And what would they want? They would want things to be made even more simple. I'll put that into perspective. So from the time the pandemic started, right, so sometime in February 2020, the amount of ransomware attacks had risen 500%, right? So which means because people are working from wherever they are, more and more phishing attacks are happening, more and more ransomware attacks are happening. How do you address such a situation? There is no way you can go and manually train every employee. There is no way you will go manually look at every device in the organization to see if they are infected. You will always need tools, but tools have to keep pace with how the attacks are happening, how technologically advanced they are. This is where you need artificial intelligence. I don't want to hype AI way too much. AI is just one type of software where it doesn't work based on user input, but it works with the already available data to understand from history. So what has really happened? It tries to find patterns, and when some things happen current time or sometime in the future, it uses the learning, it uses the pattern matching ability to proactively say if an attack is going to happen, right? So this is where we use artificial intelligence in ManageEngine also. It is to make predictions, it is to give people this extra insight, extra perspective from the data that they already have, right? So when somebody asks for a technology request, they raise a ticket, right? Will the ticket be completed before the SLA expires, right? This is an insight anybody would want to have when they are working on a ticket. This is what ManageEngine's AI will provide. So, and as I talked about, it's very important to identify anomalies that are happening in your network, right? A person or a team that is supposed to work only between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. only for the last 2-3 days, right? So they are trying to do things very unusual. It can happen from a person, a team, or it could happen from a particular device or a particular application, or even, right? Say for example, a person does one particular operation only 10 times a day over a 2-year average. Suddenly the last 1 week, they are doing the same operation some 100 times a day, right?
Yeah.
This could be an operation like copying a file to a cloud service, right? So when somebody is trying to steal 10 GB of data, they are not going to put a USB drive and copy it in one go. It is easy to identify.
Yes.
So what they do, take 100 MB, put it to Google Cloud. Take another 500 MB, put it to Microsoft Cloud, right? So this is an anomaly. They are not supposed to do this during the time period. So this is what our AI will catch, right? This person is not supposed to put this small chunk into a cloud service. It will raise a flag. So it will raise a flag to an administrator. If it happens for the second day, it will raise a stronger flag, right? If it happens for 7 days, it will even try to trigger a response and stop the person from even doing operations. So this is an example of what we are doing at ManageEngine in terms of pattern recognition, anomaly detection, prediction making and all of that. So this is one area. Other important area is our ability to do text and voice processing. Right? So people are so used to using Siri and Alexa in their personal life, but Alexa in personal life is very different. You ask Alexa to play a song, like a Gangnam Style song. If it plays a different song, it's not a big deal. But in a business perspective, when you tell Alexa to generate a report, and if it generated a completely wrong report, it's not an ideal scenario, right? So ManageEngine operates in a business context. So our bots need to be trained. Our bots needs to be programmable. That's what we have done, right? So our customers take our ZR technology, which is our AI technology from ManageEngine. So they can train the bots. They can also program the bots to understand the language they use in their environment. be able to understand what is being spoken, what is being asked for, and then it does actions based on the language the customer speaks. So the prediction engine, anomaly detection engine I talked about is one area where we do deep work and apply it to technology management. And we also bring the language processing abilities, which is text bots and voice bots, to the business environment, where you will be able to let executives ask questions and bring answers dynamically. So these are some of the areas we do a lot of good work, deep work on AI and ML.
As you know, in the region, especially in Egypt, there are a lot of small company and the media. Can you tell me what is the vision for you, especially for this is kind of company?
Right. So when we talk about this small and medium-sized business, they always operate with a lot of constraints. It could be not having enough capital, not having enough budgets to spend on technology, not being able to hire people with the right expertise. So we consider ourselves as such a company, right? We always are looking for value. We do not have excess capital. We do not have excess human force, whatever. We need to make sure we are working very, very efficiently. So ManageEngine is a company that was born and still operating out of India, right? So I believe the demographics in Egypt is very similar to India, right? So the life, the culture, so the middle class values. So that translates to how the business is run too. They don't want to splash a lot of money. They want to spend the right kind of money, but they expect value coming from whatever they spend, right? So this, I would say, is the focus for ManageEngine also. Build technology which is easy to use, which is affordable for a lot of mid-sized companies. But one thing they should do is not be constrained too much about should I go adopt technology. They should not wait for too long. Take a bold approach, right? So today, if you have good bandwidth, good internet access, you can flip your business model, right? So to take your products, to take your services to a broader geographical area. If you are operating out of one city, you can cover the entire Egypt, right? So by deploying good technology within a matter of few months, right? When they do that, they need a lot of tools, and that is what ManageEngine would provide. Easy to use, affordable, right? And which is where ManageEngine and mid-sized companies go hand in hand together. So we support you and you support us, and that's our idea.
Yeah. Last year, as you know, we find a lot of attacks. So cyber security, it is very important for any company. What is your vision, especially in this point?
So especially in the last 2 years, the way things have changed. So till 2019, working from a remote office, working from home, sort of like a choice, was an option given to privileged employees. But today, 2021, is the way of life. Companies have to assume all the people will not going to be in the same office, right? Which means they not only have to enable remote work, they just cannot compromise on information security issues rising out of this new model. The new model is, there could be a day where 100% of your employees are working from remote. This is something that happened last year when we had global lockdowns, right? When this happens, what are the important things that you need to do, right? Number one, you need a strong identity and access management system, right? Which is to make sure when your employees are working from their home, you have no control what happens to their devices. Their children, their family or their friends could be using a corporate device. Or these people could be borrowing the device to access sensitive corporate data, right? So you need to make sure you have strong identity management system that always ensure 100% only the corporate employees are accessing corporate data, right? So you could have two-factor authentication, you could have dynamic authentication, all of that. So as important as it is to manage identity of users, it is equally important to manage your endpoints, which is your tablets, your mobile phones, your laptop computers, all of that your people use. Because again, you have no control what device they use, or you have no control over what the corporate device is used for when it stays at home for an extended period of time. So they also need technology to 100% continuously monitor what is happening in the device. Are people clicking on any phishing link or any virus ransomware attacks that keeps happening all the time, right? Or is there a different kind of data leak attack that is happening, right? So again, manually addressing this problem is not going to scale. You are going to have employees from sales, administration, legal, executives. These are not technology savvy people. They expect the technology team to handle the devices for them, right? So which is where you need to invest on a tool, and which is what ManageEngine is also focusing. We focus on providing good identity management system. We are focusing on giving a good endpoint management and security system, right? That will go and work together to offer what we call as like remote access security. It's very, very important. And this is the trend that companies should look forward. How do you secure remote access to your corporate assets? So these could be digital assets, these could be physical assets, and this is a trend that they should look forward to. And this is a trend we also expect and building products for, building solutions for.
As you know, a lot of government in the region go to the rotation. So how can help this government?
Go to reservation.
Digitalization.
Virtualization.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, virtualization is a very important technology, inevitable technology, right? So especially when you cannot put a lot of investment building your own infrastructure, you need to turn to virtualization. Whether if you want to leverage the hardware that you already have on premises, or when you move to cloud, right? So virtualization brings a lot of cost and operations benefit. The way you could scale, right? So suddenly you have a business opportunity where you have to scale your technology infrastructure, like say 2x, 3x within a span of 2 months. You cannot commission and like build such a big virtual physical infrastructure actually. So this is where virtual infrastructure come into play, right? Virtualization is very key. It helps you to elastically scale both up and down, scale up and down very, very easily in a cost effective and operationally efficient way. So virtualization is like, I would say it's already a commodity. Every company must have a good strategy around virtualizing their environment. If not the entire environment, at least the most important parts, right? You have a physical infrastructure, have an equivalent virtualization counterpart, which you can scale up and down elastically. So it's a very important strategic thing that I would encourage all the businesses to have good focus on.
My last question, can you give me what is the main reason for share in Jitex Dubai this year?
So ManageEngine as a company, we have been in Jitex from 2007. So we have been here like last 14 years. So even in 2020, when the pandemic was going intensely around the world and Jitex happened, we still had a presence. So we believe Jitex is the most important event for this region. So not just for the UAE, all of Middle East, Africa and some parts of Europe. So absolutely one of the biggest events that I have been to. So our belief is when we go to such a big event is to have a very big presence. That's what you would see here with ManageEngine. We have a big presence. We have our executive team, we have a full business team for this region available. A lot of product experts have flown in from India to directly meet with our customers, both current and prospective customers. We have all our partners from across the region, the GCC region, African region being here. So this is one event where like we hit like a lot of fruits with like just one stone. So meet competition, meet customers, meet partners, right? So Jitex is a strategically important event. We are only increasing every year. We see great ROI. Jitex is something that has evolved nicely. It's not just about one or two technologies anymore. Like a lot of focus on both current and technologies that are supposed to come in the future, right? So the blend is great to see. So today we have these tools in ManageEngine. So 3 years down the line, we could be looking at a completely different landscape, right? Because in 2019, what we saw was completely different from what we are seeing today in 2021. Remote work is the new way of life. Similarly, 2024, we don't know what it is going to be. But Jitex is an event that gives us good insights on where technology is heading, where adoption of technology is heading, what are the expectations of consumers, of corporations, and both in that perspective, not just like meeting people, but also the perspective and direction, get a sense of direction for our business. Jitex is strategically important, and that's why we are here repeating.
Yes. In Egypt next month, it will be arranged Cairo ICT is a big exhibition like Jitex, but especially in Egypt and Africa. Okay. Do you think you must share in this exhibition or not?
Okay, so we are looking at Africa as the next growth region for ManageEngine. So when we started, the primary focus was obviously the North American market. We then moved to Europe. We now have global presence, but in the last 5 years particularly, we have a lot of emphasis put on the African market, especially countries like Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa. See a lot of growth, particularly about Egypt. I come from India, I live in India. The last 3 years we have seen a lot of digital push, and because India has not a lot of investment already done on technology. I'm just making a small comparison here, nothing unfair or anything. The North American and the European countries have already invested a lot in legacy technologies. For them to adopt recent technologies is not an easy decision. But for developing countries like Egypt or India, we are starting only now. And we are starting with the most recent cutting edge technology, right? And from what I talk to our team in Egypt, our partners in Egypt, we see the same pattern happening there like what we see in India. So a lot of push to go digital, especially because the economy is growing, people are getting the right expertise to transform using technology to solve their personal problems, business problems and all of that. This is really, really happening in Egypt. Just from ManageEngine point of view. So between 2019 and 2020, even during the difficult pandemic period, we grew close to 50%. And on that 50, this year, 2021, the first 9 months, we've already grown 70%, right? So this is a reflection of how Egypt is going very, very fast on technology adoption, how the economy there is thriving. So one thing is for us to have all these products. The other thing is to go to each country and have a reach. We are looking at opportunities to market our products better. So we are increasing our distributor channel, reseller channel and all of that. We're also looking at marketing avenues. Any event like Jitex that would happen in Egypt, we'll be glad to support. We'll be glad to have our presence, right? To understand what pressing problems the market in Egypt has, and how we can tune our products better to suit customers in those markets. So we'll obviously be very excited, look forward to opportunities that we could have in Egypt to have such big events, big technology issues.